Hello, my name's Lloyd and I'm here today to help you explain how to use this table of tenses. In the active voice we have 12 different tenses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, to start off with, we have the simple. Here it is. After that we have the progressive, also known as the continuous. Then we have the perfect. And finally we have the perfect progressive, also called the perfect continuous. And from left to right we have the present, the past, and the future. So one more time, this is the active voice and there are 12 different tenses. We have the present simple, the past simple, the future simple, the present progressive, the past progressive, the future progressive, the present perfect, the past perfect and the future perfect. And finally, the present perfect progressive, the past perfect progressive and the future perfect progressive. One more time, be very careful with this word progressive, because on some tables in some books this is also referred to as the continuous or the perfect continuous. If you learn how to use these tables, you will save yourself an enormous amount of time, because the study of English grammar is very simple, but only if you have it explained to you in a good manner. So today we're going to speak about the present simple. Okay, we use the present simple for several different reasons. For a general fact, for example, the earth goes around the sun. Also, snow is white. I am a man and you are students. We also use the present simple when we have things which repeat on a regular occasion. I go to school every day. I clean my teeth every morning. I go to work at 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 6 o'clock. I celebrate Christmas once a year. Okay, now here in the present simple, here we have the verb in the first form and the verb ending in S. Okay, so let's put these here. Here we are. Verb in the first form, the infinitive. And then also we have the verb ending in S. Okay, so if we have a positive statement, take these and go on to our next table. If you have a positive statement, the positive statement uses the verb in the first form, the infinitive. For example, I go to school, you go to school, we go to school, they go to school. But if it's he, she or it, the third person singular, the verb adds the letter S at the end, and sometimes the letter ES. He goes to school, she goes to school, it goes to school. So one more time, in the positive of the present simple, when we have a statement, for I, you, we or they, we use the verb in the first form, the infinitive. For he, she or it, the third person singular, this verb ends in the letter S, or sometimes ES. I walk, you walk, we walk, they walk. He walks, she walks, it walks. And these are the signal words that you will often see in the sentence that will help you realise that we are dealing with the present simple time. Usually, always, often, every day, every week, every month, every year, every Sunday. These are routines and habits. But once again, the present simple isn't only used for routines and habits, it's also used for obvious facts. Winter occurs every year. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. And also, what is your name? How are you? Let's go back to our present simple. So, in the present simple, when we have a positive statement, let's put the positive sign here. We use the verb in the first form, and we also use the verb adding the letter S. That's for a positive statement. However, things change when we use a negative statement or if we have a question. Let's take these off. Now, if we have a negative in the present simple, we still use the verb in the first form. But if we have I, you, we, or they, we have the helping verb, do not. So one more time. For I, you, we, or they, in the present simple, when we have a negative, we use the helping verb, do not, followed by the verb in the first form. However, if we have the third person singular, he, she, or it, we use the helping verb, does not. Followed by the verb in the first form once again. So let me just explain this to you. In the present simple, if you have a negative, you still use the verb in the first form. However, for I, you, we, or they, you use the helping verb, do not, and then the main verb in the first form. For he, she, or it, the third person singular, you use the helping verb, does not, followed by the verb in the first form. Now if you remember, in the positive, we had the verb plus S for he, she, or it. Well, this verb plus S, this S has been taken off of the end of the verb and now has been put onto the end of the helping verb for he, she, or it, the third person singular. Okay? Let's go over to the different table. Here we are, the negative form. I, you, we, or they. We have the helping verb, do not. There you are, do not. Then we have a negative. Followed by the verb in the first form. In this particular case, like. So, I don't like milk. I do not like milk. You don't like milk. You do not like milk. We don't like milk. They don't like milk. However, when we have he, she, or it, we throw away this do not and we put on does not. But still keeping the verb in the first form. He, she, it doesn't like tea in this particular example. Now be very careful. Your S, your verb plus S that we had in the positive, no longer appears in the negative form. The verb plus S appears at the end of the helping verb, so we have does. Here's the S, it's been taken off of here, and it's gone on to the helping verb. And now we only have the verb in the first form, the infinitive, as the main verb. So, when we have a question in the present simple, we once again use the verb in the first form. But we also once again, just as in the negative, we have a helping verb. And in this case, it's do or does. Okay, so I, you, we, they uses the helping verb do, followed by the verb in the first form when we have a question. But for the third person singular, he, she, it, we use the helping verb does, followed by the verb in the first form. Once again, this es has been taken off of the s that appeared at the end of the verb when we had a positive. You take it from here and put it at the end of the helping verb. Okay, let's take these and go to our other table. Here we are, questions. So, I, you, we, they uses the helping verb do, followed by the main verb, which is the verb in the first form. However, he, she, or it, the third person singular, uses the helping verb does, once again followed by the verb in the first form. So the examples we've got here. Do I like juice? Do you like juice? Do we like juice? Do they like juice? Or he, she, it. Does he like milk? Does she like milk? Does it, for example the cat, does the cat like milk? Here on our final table is a table of irregular verbs. Irregular verbs have three different forms. The verb in the first form, the verb in the second form, and the verb in the third form. I will explain this table in more detail in our next lesson. However, all you have to understand at this moment is that when I'm referring to the verb in the first form, I'm referring to the infinitive. Here it is, infinitive. Or we just call it the verb in the first form. Okay? So, all of these are what I call the verb in the first form. To help you understand this, just to recap. Here, in the present simple, which we use for habits and routines of obvious facts or obvious questions, when we have a positive, we use the verb in the first form for I, you, we, or they. Or, if it is a third person singular, he, she, or it, we use the verb followed by the letter S. I'll take these and put them on the third table, just so you can see it one more time. Here we are, the positives. We have a positive. I, you, we, they uses the verb in the first form. He, she, or it uses the verb in the first form plus the letter S. Okay, let's go back to the middle table. If we have a negative in the present simple, we once again use the verb in the first form. Okay. For I, you, we or they, we also use the helping verb do not. Or for he, she or it, does not. Okay, these are called the helping verb, and this is called the main verb. Let's take these over to our table. Here we are, the negative. I, you, we, they. The helping verb do not. Here it is, written here. Do not, or it shortens to don't. For he, she, or it, the helping verb does not, which shortens to doesn't. And then we follow this by the verb in the first form. Okay, let's take these, go back to our middle table. In the present simple, if we have a question, we have the verb in the first form. For I, you, we or they, we have the helping verb do. But for the third person singular, he, she or it, we have the helping verb does. Followed once again by the verb in the first form. Okay, let's take these, put them on our table one more time. Here we are, questions. So, the helping verb do, here it is, written here, followed by the verb in the first form. Do you like orange juice? For he, she or it, we use the helping verb does. Once again, followed by the verb in the first form. Does she like tea? Okay, so I hope I have helped you to at least understand the present simple. That's one of the tenses in the active voice. There are still another 11 more to go. So in our next lesson, we will do two things. We will discuss the present progressive, also known as the present continuous, and also help you to begin to understand these verbs in the first form, the second form, and the third form. Goodbye.